And welcome back to Fox 12 Now. Thanks for joining us. We appreciate everybody tuning in. I'm Greg Nibbler, live here from the Fox 12 Oregon newsroom. We're here every weekday. We start at 1 o'clock. We go throughout the afternoon. We get to cover a wide range of topics. We also get to have some great conversations here on this show. And if you are a fan of the Portland Timbers, which I think a lot of people are, you know that this club has a very storied history here in this city, in this region. And part of that story, a big part of it, has to do with Clyde Best and just the impact that he had not only on this team, on this area, but also just his career, his amazing career of what he did for soccer and really what he did for a lot of us fans here in Portland for what this city is and what this Timbers organization is. And there's a new documentary that is out that is all about him. It's going to be showing June 4th and 5th at the Aladdin Theater. And we have him here joining us right now, Mr. Clyde Best. And Clyde, so good to have you here on the show. I appreciate your time and joining us to talk about this and you know, just all these significant accomplishments that you have. But I think to start off, you know, tell me about this documentary. Like tell me about what it is that you wanted to accomplish out of it, or what it is that really enticed you to be a part of this.
Well, I think the most important thing about the documentary is to let young people see that you can achieve big things if you put your mind to it and you're willing to work hard. I left Bermuda as a 17-year-old youngster by myself, going to England, not knowing anybody, and being able to get to the top flight.
To make it, yeah, to the top. And so you went there knowing no one when you were 17.
That's right. That's correct. Yes.
Man,
And I was able to run into Clyde Charles and his family, and that was like a lifesaver for me, you know, and getting to know Clive, his brother, his sisters, and mother was a blessing.
can you tell us, you know, again, for people who might not know, you know, about that relationship with Clive Charles and how that took place, and you know, bringing that relationship also, you know, to Portland and all of that. Can you just tell us a little bit about your relationship with Clive? Why it meant so much?
Well, well, it meant so much because that was the first family that I had connected with going to England from Bermuda, not knowing anybody. Clive and I played in the same youth team, and up until we connected into the first team, and he was like a brother. I look at the family and let people know that that's my second family away from home, and they were fantastic with me.
And when you came to Portland, can you tell us, you know, what your first, if you can think about that, you know, when you first came to Portland, what your first impressions were and what that experience was like coming from, you know, again, another move across the world.
Yes, my first move to Portland was from Tampa Bay, who Portland had played in the final the year before, and I had known about the Timbers with Brian Tyler, and Brian was the one really responsible for getting me to come to Portland to play for the Timbers. He put a bid in for myself and Stuart Scullion to come to Portland and play. And Portland, I think, is a great city. The people were fantastic, and they supported us all the way.
And when you know, when you think about those times, what are some of the biggest things that stand out to you about being in Portland?
Well, I think the biggest thing was the people themselves, how nice they were and genuine, you know, treated us with respect. And we just had to go out and play. And if you done that, they will support you. And most of us that were in Portland at that time, you know, understood the club's responsibility to the community, and we just followed along the pattern.
When you're, you know, thinking about, I guess to try to frame this up here, when you're thinking about, you know, your legacy and being here in Portland and that aspect of working with the community and being a part of that, how big of a part of that is the legacy of Clyde Best?
Well, it's very important. I mean, it's for every place that I've been in the world, and I've been pretty blessed to have been various places to play. A lot of people don't get that opportunity, and I was able to start in England, from England to Tampa Bay, from Tampa Bay to Portland. During that time, I had a stint in Holland as well. So, to get to play in those hotbeds of the world when it comes to football was a blessing in disguise and something that I would always appreciate.
When you talk about football, just how things have changed, you mentioned talking to the younger people to tell them about that time period that you were in. When you look at the game now, particularly here in the U.S. and in Portland, what do you see that stands out to you as far as the changes and the growth of the sport?
Well, the growth of the sport is the thing that really connects with you. And I think we important have to thank my friend Clyde Charles, who spent so many countless hours on the road coaching and teaching children to play the game the right way. We were both blessed to be brought up at a club like West Ham at the time that specialized in playing the game the right way. And Ron Greenwood was a genius, and he made sure that we knew the basics and were able to teach basics to other people. And that's what Clyde really done.
When you look at the title of this documentary, Transforming the Beautiful Game, the Clyde Best Story, what is it that you think is indicative of the transforming part, as far as transforming the game in your career and your life?
Well, I think when you look at it from the beginning, as I said, a young man leaving his homeland, and Bermuda's a beautiful place to be brought up in, and give all that up to go to seek my goals overseas in England, and to be able to come to North America and help develop the sport there, that alone, speaks volumes not only for me, but for my parents and the Charles family and all the people that were around us during that time.
Yeah, I mean, that's absolutely, it explains it. I mean, going there to all those different places, and especially back then, in the 70s. Well, for people watching this film, and I want to go back to, kind of what we were talking about at the beginning, but you look at younger people who are more and more people getting into the game as far as North America, worldwide. It's always been so popular. What would you say to maybe somebody out there who's just getting started in the sport, with the opportunities that may be ahead of them, to encourage them to continue along their pathway to maybe find a career like you had?
Well, I think the most important thing to remember, you've got to be tough. You got to be willing to work hard. You got to set your mind and your goals and know which way you want to go. And if you go through life letting people know that that's what you want, and you're not going to take no for an answer, you got a chance. And the most important thing is to never let nobody tell you that you can't do something. Today, you can do anything in life you want, long as you're doing it the right way.
And Clyde, yeah, you've certainly done it the right way. I mean, with where you're at right now, thank you for having time to talk to us, and for having, for getting this story out there for everyone. I got to ask you one other thing, since you are on here. The World Cup's on the way up. Do you have anybody that you think is the favorite to win the World Cup this year?
When you look at the situation in world football right now, there are a few good teams that I think could do well. You've got the Spanish team, you've got the uh, English team. You never count the Germans out because you never know what they're going to be putting on the table to you. I think England could be a dark horse if they do what they have to do and take advantage of their opportunities. Brazil, you can't count out. Argentina, you can't count out. So there are a lot of very good teams there. So you just have to hope that the one that you're supporting, comes out on top.
Yeah, which it's not going to be for, not many people will have that experience, but at the end of the day, it's just so much fun watching it and just being, seeing where it all goes. Well, Clyde, thank you very much for joining us here. Anything else that you want to let people know?
Well, I think it's important for a lot of the young people to try and get out and see the documentary. There's a lot of education that you can take from there and go along and use it in your everyday life. And as I said, the most important thing for young people, I would like them to understand that football and sport is a part of your life. education is the most important thing, and that's for your entire life.
Well, thanks for sharing that with us. And again, that documentary, people can see that June 4th and 5th at the Aladdin Theater here in town. And big celebration for that. I know the Timbers are going to be a part of that celebration too. And I'm sure a lot more people will be down there also. So, Clyde, thanks for joining us here on Fox 12 Now and having time to talk to us.
Thanks very much for having me. It's a pleasure.
And for everybody watching, we are live streaming here. We're going to go ahead and take a break. We'll continue our coverage. We've got lots more things that we'll be talking about, but really appreciate having Clyde joining us here for that conversation. So whether you're watching it live or after the fact, thanks. And we'll be right back after this with more Fox 12 Now.
Good day.